live. YouTube go live 60 FPS, looking good. Let's try and make sure I don't echo like mad. We good? Yep, cool, it's there, it's auto muted. Good. Good. Get my YouTube chat. Out over here. Right next to my Twitch. You know, I said I needed a third monitor for all this for years, and now I feel like I need a fourth monitor. The space just goes. Because I basically just use both of these monitors for like doing actual production now, so like, oh my god, my face. Okay, yeah, I don't think I need the PSD of that. It's fine. Oh yeah, Stream Deck, which is not working very well at the moment. Oh my god, it's actually just crashed. That actually killed my Stream Deck as well. Oh, it's weird because it's actually just still looks like it's turned on. Guess I can restart that. Stream Deck has not been behaving very well. It lags like mad whenever like OBS is running, and I've been spending like an hour trying to figure it out. I could not figure it out, so it just is what it is. God, it might not even load when I'm actually streaming. That's very upsetting, because I use my Stream Deck for a lot. I use it for like my lights and everything in the room. It's become like a really integral part of what I do. Ugh, I want a bigger one, but like, ugh, none of that's gonna be like this. No. Whatever, I guess I'm gonna have to live without it. Hey, Mika? Can't pronounce your last name, I'm sorry, but hello. Over on YouTube. How was Gamescom? Gamescom was great. Gamescom was awesome. I'm making a video about it at the moment. It's just taking a while to put together because I've been kind of on a bit of a content break, as some will have noticed. Hey Mookie. Hey Dat Kid Dean. If anyone gets confused, I need to put something on the screen that's like, I am multi-streaming, in case people get confused while I'm talking to different people in different chats. I think it was easier when like the chat was on the screen. I had it in the little stream goblin section, but I've yet to really fix that. What I should probably do though is change what it says on that. Can I do that in real time? The no playing says that there. What is it? Oh, does that not usually... Maybe I've just replaced it with something hard-coded. We can take a look at that now, though, actually. Yeah, you can also just join both chats, but that requires you knowing both chats exist. You know, I feel like it's only confusing to people who don't kind of realize that there are two streams. Yeah, I'm making a video about Gamescom at the moment because it was really cool. But, I was gonna say, it's like, well, the video itself is not actually taking a long time, it's just like, it's taking me a long time to get around to making it. Let me take a look at Eoldi. Overlay. Wait, is that not in here? I really should put that in here. I'm sure I probably say this every time I open it. Why is there a Pokepoke YYP in my overlay folder? What the fuck? Since when? Oh my god, what's that doing there? I'm just not gonna think about that. Is that where it is? Why do I keep this project? Oh, just here. Okay. How is everybody else? Is anyone else doing Ludum Dare? I've not done one in a really long time. I think 49 was my last one? Or 50? Did I do 50? No, it's 49. Oh, it's kind of sad that I didn't do 50. I think I was really, like, I think I wanted to. I think I was really busy. And then a few have kind of skipped over me. I don't have a Discord server, no. I am in the GameMaker one. Just the r/GameMaker. I think I'm in most of the Discords. The various ones that are out there. But like I don't run a Discord because God, that sounds like hard work. What I do already is hard work, you know. What's the theme? I don't know. Well, it's one of these things, and we're gonna go over them and talk about which ones I think will be fun, which ones I think might be less fun, and then whichever one I really, really hate is the one we're gonna have to, was probably the one that's gonna get picked, right? That's how it works. Anyway, I just want to see in here. I really need to get a better workflow for working on this. Maybe even just start the make a new overlay, you know, make a new one from scratch. But like, who has the time? Yeah, wow, I actually just bury it in there now, huh? I feel like I don't have... I swear that used to like draw from... Where did I draw? That's weird that I would cut that out, but I think I was just being really quick with something. I don't even have the scrolling Patreon supporters anymore. Yeah, I need to really update this. Yeah, the theme will get revealed at 11 o'clock my time, which is, in my time, about 6 hours? No, 7 hours. It's a while. It's kind of upsetting. Like, I feel like I seem to remember saying they actually changed it to be more accommodating of a time for European people, but it doesn't feel that way. Maybe it was the other way around. Maybe it was to better accommodate US people. I don't know. Because, like, it just sucks now. Like, it used to be like the theme would get announced at like 2 AM or 1 AM or something like that. And so it's like, okay, you just wake up the next day and you just start. Yeah, you lose like how many hours? Like 6 hours or whatever. But it's like, whatever, it's just the time sleeping. Whereas now it's like, oh, it's okay, because now it starts at 11, so it's like, but that's like the time I want to go to bed, you know? Like, that just like ensures I lose the maximum amount of time. Like, I don't want to start working on a game jam at 11 o'clock. Like, obviously I also didn't want to start at 2 AM, but I just wouldn't, you know? Like, maybe I would stay up and hear the theme sometimes, like when I was a bit younger and wanted to actually stay up later. Hi, do you know if GM will implement live code someday without need to recompile always? I mean, you can kind of do that now with a thing called GM Live by Yellow Afterlife, and Yellow often works with GameMaker on doing stuff, so I don't think it's like completely out of the realm of possibility that they end up with something like that inside GameMaker one day. But I imagine it's probably not going to be, you know, next week. I just want... Where did I used to... You know where it says commands? Like, I used to do that from... All common, F common, draw text live chat. P? What price even is that? Oh no, yeah, that's it. That's it right there. I think I can do that. Hopefully it remembers whatever that stuff was. And then I just need to like get rid of it from the image, right? Yeah, I need to put this all back together properly at some point. Oh, the position might be off though as well, but we'll find out. Oh, a rare use of the brush thing being really useful. You're like, I never use that. It's like, well, there you go. Okay, so the overlay is going to break a bit because we're going to have to run it. What's the theme? We don't know yet. Well, the theme isn't going to be known for about 7 hours, because if the theme was known now, I'd be able to start now, right? Okay, right, so like, yeah, it's like right over here. That's actually really weird. Why would it be over there? Oh, is that? Oh, that's where I used to have it. Yeah. Right, okay, we're gonna have to... This is gonna be a pain. Can we just work this out? Like, how big is this? Booting up GM Live would be good for this, but it'll take me more time to set up GM Live for this thing than it would to just manually guess. Actually, I can see, right? It's like 1065.99. Magic numbers, let's go! Wait, what was that? 165.99. Like, this will be wrong as well, we'll still need to adjust this a bit, but like, we'll just go from here. Do I think it's possible to make hand-draw games on GM Studio? Sometimes big pixel art really decrease your performance. I'm confused as to why your pixel art is decreasing your performance and why you're having performance issues with whatever it is you try to do. Because, I mean, absolutely it's possible to do hand-drawn games, but that you would think that would be like higher resolution, right? And more likely to cause problems than a pixel art game, typically speaking. Oh, actually, that's positioned pretty well. Like, maybe drop it 2 down, 2 down, 2 to the right. Drop it down a bit. I feel like it didn't drop down at all, did I? Oh, I might have reduced the number instead of increasing it. Yeah. I was gonna say that felt completely wrong. 9, 3, 1. Hey Steve. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for stopping by. LD keynote speaker. It'll be out already, won't it? Will it not? Unless they haven't done. I don't know if they still do one every time. And you say this year, but there are multiple LDs per year, which is a fact I constantly forget. Even when I was doing like every single Ludum Dare, I would constantly forget. I would always refer to it as like this year, because it just feels like the sort of thing that's yearly. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Right. We'll start with that. But we're going to be very selective in our replacement of things. Why is this actually? Yeah, it is the latest. I'm going to replace the exe. I'm going to replace the data.win. And that's going to be it, because all of these will be set up otherwise. And then this is going to say... Well, I want to say... Maybe I won't, so I don't get spotted by the Twitch cops. I don't think they're gonna care, but nonetheless. Yeah, just to be clear, because people try it on YouTube, but they don't work on YouTube at all. What do I mean with PreJam? I just mean it's a PreJam stream, you know? We're going to talk about the themes, about the stuff. Maybe just we're going to just hang out and be like, "Ooh, Ludum Dare is happening soon." Multiplayer game where you have to solve riddles with your mate. Sounds fun. So yeah, themes. We got a lot of themes. I'll close this down now. Now, typically, what I've usually said in the past is I like themes that are one word on principle. Like that doesn't intrinsically make a theme good, but I feel like it's usually better the less words there are in the theme. I think that might be kind of like a cause and effect mix-up in some ways, though, because I think that's just like a trend, right? It's like the better themes tend to be shorter because shorter themes tend to represent concepts more. They tend to represent broader, open-ended things that could mean a lot of different things, could be interpreted in a wide variety of different ways, and the longer a sentence gets or whatever, the more like specific it is, usually, right? Each word adds some amount of like specificity to whatever it is you're saying. So, and what I don't like about that, usually, is you'll often get themes along the lines of something like, your life is currency. I think that was one that I actually did. Or, you know, to think of one that would be really bad would be just like, it's a platform game, but you're the bad guy. Like, that whole sentence is a theme, you know? Like, it sucks for a million and one reasons. It's hyper-specific, it mentions gameplay tropes, that generally mean everyone's gonna have to try and, like, bend what they do around those things. It's, like, not really open to much interpretation, and it involves boring stuff that has been done in games before, like, really repeatedly. Which doesn't mean to say that, oh, doing something that's been done in games before is bad, but it sucks as a theme for an entire jam, you know? Especially when it's just like, you are the this, or whatever, you know, things, I don't know. I don't like themes that lock things down. Like themes that are wild and weird and give you lots of things to play with. I feel like you know, I feel like some people can like that kind of thing just because it gives you just an immediate starting point, but I don't know. Like, entire game on one screen was one that really sucked. There's been a lot of themes I really didn't like. Like, but just like, yeah. Like, entire game on one screen sucked for a million and one reasons, and there's one in here that's already a better version of that. Limited Space. What a way better version of that same theme. Right? Just like a million and one more ways you can interpret that. But anyway, that might just be me. Anyway, so I picked some random ones just so I could make the tutorial for like the thumbnail for the YouTube live, because you need a thumbnail for going live on YouTube, because of course you do. So I haven't actually decided what I think of these yet, but like I'm gonna give some gut impressions as we go through these. How much can I zoom in without it? Yeah, that's good. I like that. So, Shelter. It is like it fits my general criteria, right? It's one word. It's kind of very open to interpretation. You know, like, and just, you know, seeing games in my head that represent this. And in fact, a lot of games I've made for game jams and stuff, you could argue would fit into this theme. I think it's pretty good. I don't know what I'm feeling for this jam, though. I don't know what, like... I feel like there's probably something in me of, like, the kind of thing I want to make, but I'm not sure what that is yet. But, I don't know. There's something about this that's not really grabbing me, and I don't know what it is, but at the same time, like, it's really hard to argue based on my own kind of as close to objective as possible standards that it's a bad theme. So I think I just, like, I'm compelled to say that's a good one. Break the cycle. That's interesting. But, like, what is the cycle? I don't know. Like, what? I don't know. What could that mean? Break the cycle. That's really interesting, but it feels really like really, like it's going to tell a lot of really specific stories, even though those specific stories will all be different from one another. Just destroy washing machines? Yeah, that's kind of dope. Break the cycle. I can't think of anything for that, but I feel like it's good. I don't know, I like that. I have no idea what I would make for that. I feel like it's going to tie into some kind of narrative or whatever, or just, yeah, or something wacky, like, yeah, you destroy washing machines or whatever, you know? Underground is like, I usually kind of like these because they're comfy, because it just like says nothing and you just take whatever game you want and just sort of give it that context. But I gotta admit that's kind of boring. And we've seen so many as well. This is just adding the context of previous Ludum Dares. We've seen so many called like deeper and deeper, we have to go deeper, you know, like things to do, things that very quickly conjure the idea of going underground or going like deep into something. Like, I don't know, just Like, I don't think it's a bad theme for a jam, you know. I mean, I think it's like a quote unquote objectively a good jam theme where like the goals are like in line with my goals of like, you know, being open-ended and creating lots of really cool games. I think you would see a lot of really cool games. I just think you'd see so much of the color brown, and I'm just like, eh. Is there a voting meta? No idea. Like, I don't know. Like, the one thing I will say that I've noticed very consistently across like voting and what do other people post, like when I've seen like on Twitter or anywhere else, people like post like their like screenshot of this, it'll be like 90% red and they'll have like 2 that they like or whatever, or 1 that they like. And when you see the vote totals at the end, it seems to reflect that, where like everything is negative. Everything has like negative votes, and the theme that wins is the one with the least negative votes. Or there'll be like one theme that maybe breaks into positive and has like 100 or something, and all the others are like negative thousands. It's like, it's kind of mad. It's whichever theme gets disliked the least. Which I don't know what that... Is that a good thing? I don't know. I can't think of a better way to do it. Like, I don't know. I like the system they've kind of crafted over time. I don't know how I would do it any better. Because it like happens in phases. So this is like the final voting phase. Like, we can even look. We'll look later, like what round 1 and round 2 they get like they get billions of themes, and then they do like a slaughter phase where just like, you know, they will go through and like you know, vote on like all the billions of different themes and stuff, and then it's like you know, there's thousands of themes and it gets down to like 30 something or whatever, and then they do rounds of voting on those. Looks like they do less than usual though. I feel like there used to be like 4 rounds of voting, and now there's like 1, 2 and final round. So I think it's like you get pack 1 in round, like round 1 and round 2 are like 2 different packs of themes usually, and then like the winners of those kind of go into the final round, right? But these look really good, honestly. Strange machines. That's interesting. On like, why not just machines? I don't know. Why they have to be strange? Like what? I don't know. What does that mean? Hey Morrow, hey Sean, lovely to see you again. Good to see you too. Thanks for stopping by. You're a maintenance person for a laundromat for Break the Cycle, yeah. Thanks, GG Tasteless. All your state machines must be nonsensical. Yeah, well, I suppose it depends on your time zone as to whether it starts today. It does start today in my time zone, frustratingly. I won't be starting it today, you know? Maybe I mean, probably inevitably, because I usually go to bed around 11 o'clock, which is exactly when the theme gets announced and it technically starts. So I'll probably be, like, brainstorming ideas in bed and failing to sleep. But, I'll put, like, a timer on the screen at some point. How's Pokeball? Going really well, actually. Might take a look at that in a bit. Yeah, I don't know about this on Strange Machines. I'm in a big robot mood at the moment. Been playing a ton of Armored Core 6. So maybe that's just on the basis of that. But like, I don't know. This doesn't conjure game ideas. Like, it's a context, you know? It's a bit like Underground. Like, it's just a context. It's really hard to really, like, pull mechanics out of it. You can, but like, I don't know, it doesn't... I like it when I can make something that, like, is not... where you have the option, you know? Like, with Shelter, I think you have the option to just make that a context or whatever. You know, you could just make a game set in a bunker or something. Like, or like, I don't know, something like that. And it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to make... your game doesn't have to be about sheltering, but it can be the context of it, right? Like the narrative context or whatever, right? Or reflected in the art style or whatever else. But it can also be about sheltering mechanically, things, finding shelter, creating shelter, whatever, right? That's why I think that's more interesting than just say Underground, which is like, yeah, I don't know. And then Strange Machines, like, I love machine. I want to vote up anything with machines, but like, nah, I don't know. Paths. That's a weird one. That's very abstract. Just paths. Kind of dig it. I don't know. I kind of dig it. Zeros right for a reason? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the zeros for cowards. I have used it, but it's like in the past, but like, I don't know. I have to be really unsure. If I'm leaning one way or the other, I'll click that way. Signal. Wasn't that one before? What was the theme of this? Running out of power. No, okay. It was just my game that was about Signal. Yeah, just immediately, there's some cool thoughts in my head there of just, you know, discovering like a lost signal from a thing, or following a signal, or something like what I made where you have these things that run out of signal if they go too far. Like, I don't know, I think there's a lot of interesting mechanical stuff that can come from that, a lot of interesting contextual stuff. If you have both of those things, it's hard not to like it. Folklore. That is good, I think. But, it's interesting. Like, there's this balance I'm torn. I think everyone else doesn't. I think everyone else doesn't care, and everyone just goes with what inspires them. and what they feel is really, like, I don't know, it's going to be good for them. I'm just, like, not about... I mean, I suppose that makes sense with your vote or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not about that. I try and vote in for what I think is the general interest of, like, making a good jam for everybody. Maybe I'm being... Maybe, I don't know, voting in too much of a collectivist way. Because I don't think I would do great with this, but I think it would be a good theme. I think I could do well with it if I really tried, so I don't know, I think I've got to... These are good. Is that already, like... I mean, I just love to see it when, like, not, like, most of the themes are a single word. That's, like... That's crazy. That, like, never happens. That's usually, like, the gold dust. You know, I'm just like, oh my god, this theme's a one word. But now there's so many. Overgrown. Overgrown, I dislike in the same way I dislike Underground. I think it's a bit better than that. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's more you can see from this. More like -1/2. Yeah, I might come back to this one. That's actually not too bad. Sanctuary. Sanctuary is just like... It's kind of similar to Shelter, right? In a lot of ways. Yeah, kind of redundant. What's the difference? I mean, the difference in my head is mostly kind of a contextual one, I think. You know, when I think of Sanctuary, I think of something almost like holy, right? You think of something almost like a blessed, safe space. Like, refuge from something in a more abstract way. Shelter feels less abstract. Shelter feels more in a very literal, naturalistic, like, animalistic kind of way, right? Like, shelter from the elements or the weather. Interesting. I like thinking about really similar words like that and thinking what is actually the difference. But I think we like it. I think I like it for all the same reasons. Is that like double voting up the same kind of theme in a way? Maybe. Salvage. Salvage is pretty good. Although, I don't know. The things it makes me immediately think of are kind of very proc-Jenny, and I don't like doing that. So I don't know, I can just know, I know. I never get it quite feeling right. It feels like there's just a whole layer of thing. It feels like it makes sense to do a game jam with stuff that's like generated or whatever, like you're gonna get the most value out of it rather than trying to make levels, which is really hard. But like, it just adds this whole layer of complexity I think people underestimate. But that said, it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. I think that could be quite cool. Reflect. A lot of cool, just like arcadey things immediately come to mind, right? Just pinball stuff, right? You know, like actual just reflection and deflection and bouncing stuff. But also, you like puzzle games and things, you know, reflecting beams of light or whatever and stuff. Or just, I don't know, a game that's like based around like the mechanics of like a Zelda mirror shield. I think that's going to be popular. If I had to, like, just stake a vibe check on what might win, it might be Reflect. But I don't know, people vote for some weird stuff, so... No idea. Ooh, I like that, thinking about it from a vampiric perspective. No reflection. I don't know about... I'm gonna come back to that one. I think it's good. I just don't know if I like it. I've got to admit that matters a little, you know? Locks and keys. I mean, there is a lot of ways to interpret that. I don't know, there's something clumsy about it. Again, it's multiple words. Multiple words is not always bad, but like I quite like limited space. Locks and keys. It's not very inspiring somehow, I don't know. Cowardly Zero, because I'm gonna come back to it. But I might just have to embrace being a coward. I say I do use zeros, I just use them very sparingly. I've got to be really close to the middle on it. You know, there's a low dead zone on the zero. Yeah, it does. I just like... I'm not sure why. I feel like there's a lot of stuff there, but like... I don't know. It's just not as exciting as the others. It'd be fine, I think. I almost just feel like, literally, I think you just take that off, just call it locks, and it's already better. Do you see what I mean by that? Like, there's just something about that, and then it's just like the concept of like locks and locked things. Rather than it being like locks and the thing what unlocks locks. Like, I don't know. Just, even though it's specificity that really doesn't like, even though it adds just the tiniest amount of specificity to it, it just makes it work. Just makes it work less. Pretty much any multi-word theme. I really do think like multi-word themes like almost always can be improved just by removing words from them. Even Strange Machines, I reckon, is better at just machinery or whatever. I still think it's machinery as a theme. It's not that great, but that doesn't mean to say there aren't. You know, you can specify in a way because you know we don't have a single word for everything, right? So you can, you know, broad concepts can be represented by small, like tiny creatures is quite good. You could argue tiny is even better, right? Because it's broader, but like, I don't know. There's something cute about that. Like, if you're gonna add specificity, at least make sure that specificity is super interesting. Yeah, I think Locks and Keys is, like, I don't think it's super bad. It's just kind of clumsy. Keep the light on. See, these are the ones I tend to not like. I mean, yeah, you can read this contextually, but it's like, it's one of those that leans mechanical. And if a theme leans mechanical, you run the danger of a lot of similar games. I mean, there's a few things there of just like power management and stuff, right? Or like kids being afraid of the dark. Like, there's some stuff, but I don't know. Feels slightly narrow for such a big jam, you know? Tiny creatures. I don't even know that it's that good, but it just appeals to me. Yeah, I want to make home about tiny creatures. Make some Tamagotchi stuff, let's go. Let's all make one. It's actually, like, I don't know. I think for a lot of reasons, I think it's kind of hypocritical, right? Like, a lot of the things I talked about. I don't know. I could totally see an argument for this, like, not actually being very good. But I like it. Limited space. Yeah, so I mean, you can't really say that with just the word space, and you can't really say it with just the word limited, right? So I think this is one where it's like, yeah, the two words are kind of necessary for the idea here. And yeah, it feels like a better version of entire game on one screen. I can't believe that won. I can't believe people voted for that. I mean, I guess in a way, when you consider the meta that I talked about, it's like people just didn't vote it down enough. People hated the other themes more than they liked it. Like more than they hated that one. But just just really sucked, you know? It was the like I don't know, I don't get why more people didn't vote it down. Like how people thought like, yeah, I can do that one. That's alright. It was the worst one. I can't remember what the others were, but I remember strongly it being the worst one of the lot. Yeah, I think limited space is cool. I think it's been done a lot. I think it's like my one concern with this is I feel like limited space is something we use in games just a lot as like an interest generation thing. You know, it's like when you make, you know, it's like when, if you think about like Diablo, for instance, and its inventory, and it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna kind of Tetris your inventory around and stuff like that. And like we do that a lot in games. We reduce, you know, we limit your space and we constrain your space and your options so that you have to think about things, and like, you know, it's a puzzle, right? That spaceship game I made, you had like a limited, you know, amount of space like on your ship. This, the Infinite Arc, right? You went and traveled through space and you could find things, but you only had like so much space in your ship, so you had to decide what you were bringing, what you weren't. It's just like a very common thing that will just happen in a lot of games. And I don't... Can that be I mean, it totally could be the theme of a whole game in a lot of ways, but like... Are we gonna see, therefore, because it is such a common thing, basically just everyone's like... like... Are we just gonna see... Because like creativity is like not real in a way, right? Like all we really do is remix our memories and experiences of other things. And I feel like if we're thinking about games and we're thinking about limited space, we're gonna reach for a lot of really known stuff, and we're gonna see a lot of stuff that's been seen time and time again. But I don't think we'll necessarily make them bad games or whatever, but like, you know, it just feels a little bit like we've seen that. It'd be like having retro as the theme, right? You know, we've seen so much, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Like, it's, I think, yeah. Actually, I'm gonna say it's bad. I think again, it's like similar to, like, I don't actually think it's a bad theme. I just, yeah, I have concerns. Absorb. Yeah, almost every game has an element of limited space to some degree, surely. I mean, they don't, but like, it is super common, right? And it's not like you can't amp that up and make it like that really be the focus of a game, but like even that has been done so much, right? It so often is actually like it's a really common theme of games is limited space, and because that's just generally it. You give a constraint to the player, and then that's like an interesting question, an interesting problem for them to solve, right? It's an easy theme. I think it's very easy. Low, probably too much you can do with it, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think we can do better. Get something a bit more interesting that's going to more easily generate. I think it's generally best if the ideas you, like I said, there's like creativity. You don't generate new ideas. You pull from places in your life, right? So you pull from like your experiences, and often when you're trying to make games, you're going to pull, if you can, from your experiences playing other games. Because you know what worked for other games and stuff like that, right? But that leads to the least original kinds of games. Tends to be, right? If you can pull instead from experiences outside of games, that's when you get stuff that tends to be a lot more interesting, or stuff that we've not really seen before. And of course, you'll mix that with, ideas and stuff from playing games to make something that's fun and has iterated on the years of game design that we've all done, right? But like, yeah, so I just think this will cause more people to pull ideas from games they've played than it will get them to pull from anything else, any other memories, experiences in any other medium or any other thing in their life. And I think the more something tries to make you pull from games, the less interesting the games end up being. Which is also why I tend not to like very mechanical themes. We don't have any examples of that here, really. Keep the light on a little bit, but like most of them are all actually really abstract, which is super cool. This is one of the best sets of like themes I've like seen in a long time. But that means I've got to like be more discerning, right? Otherwise I could just vote them all out. Absorb. Pretty abstract. Really can see that mechanically. Can you see that contextually? Absorb, I don't know. I feel like no matter what, that's gonna like be a context. It'll be like mechanically involved. And I think it's something where absorb is just like the setting somehow, but like has nothing to do with the gameplay. Maybe. Other than like, story-driven game, but like. I mean, it doesn't have to give you a. I mean, it could even be better. Like, I find it's like good for beginners sometimes to just be able to like if something just gives you a context without having to be like mechanically involved. I think that's very good for people who just like are beginners and like can only make a certain variety of games because that's only like the skill set they have. To be able to just be like, okay, make something kind of like what we mostly already know how to do, but make it underground, paint it brown or whatever, right? So I think it's nice to have that side of a theme. I'm not sure Absorb has that. I think Absorb forces mechanical thinking. I don't know. I mean, that's cool. I think that's good, especially for, I absolutely don't think you need it to do that. I just think it can be nice. I think it's nice for beginners. I mean, you could say the same about paths. Maybe not as much, but similar to a degree. I think I like it. I just... Yeah, it's a tricky one. Alright. Can we go either way on Reflect or Overgrown? I think I would be perfectly happy if Reflect got picked. But I don't know, I just think there's cooler themes. Overgrown. Same for that, actually. Yeah, I think that's my final spread. Reflect. You know, I hadn't even thought of it in that way. That's kind of wild, right? I hadn't thought of it of just, you know, reflection on something, right? Reflecting on an idea. I was thinking of it very literally. You know, that kind of makes me like it again. Because there's a breadth there that I hadn't considered. Not that I think it's like, you know, I'd prefer to do a game like that or one or the other. I just think like that makes it suddenly way more interesting. I wonder if that was going to stay at 0. It might have done. Like, I could go either way on it. I don't know, like, if you could see into my mind and see, like, the value for it right now, like, positive or negative. It's like 0.3, 0.4 maybe, but I think that's enough. I think if something's going to stay at 0, it's got to be like 0.1 or negative 0.1. And at that point, I'd struggle to really even identify my own feelings on it, you know? It would feel like 0. Absorb is your favorite by a long shot. Yeah, what does everyone else like? I saw some people talking about Reflect earlier. People like that. No, it seemed quite a bit of love for Absorb when we finally got down to it. What and what do we like about them? What do people like about these themes? I'm really interested. I'm such a nerd for this stuff. I don't know why. I just like, I've done these streams before and I just like think way too much about like themes. And then a lot of the time I'll be like, this theme is so good and it's really, really good. And then like maybe it'll happen and I'll just like have no idea what to make for it. Some people do that as well. Like they'll try and go over like every theme and be like, okay, what are some ideas for this? And they'll like write down some ideas of what to make. I can't do that. A lot of people talk about like coming up with game ideas as like, oh, everyone's got like 1,000 ideas, you know, and I don't feel that way at all. I feel like I mean, I do have lots of ideas, but I don't know, I don't... Yeah, that was it. People said like, oh, throw away your first 10 ideas for, you know, whatever, when the theme gets picked, throw away your first 10 ideas because someone's already making them, or whatever. And I think that's terrible advice. Like, I can't come up with 10 ideas. I usually pick like my 3rd idea. Or something like a best. First idea often does suck. I think it's a terrible arbitrary rule to be like, chuck your first 10. I don't know. I don't know if anyone has ever really even done that. Maybe it's more of a metaphor. But just don't go with the thing that jumps to mind. But I think you can just go with the thing that jumps to mind. I think that's fine. Anyway, what are people saying here? We like folklore, we like absorb. Tiny creatures or folklore. Folklore sounds art heavy. Doesn't have to be, right? Because you could be thinking like... I mean, you could make like, just like you're reading a book or something. I don't know, a book of legends or something is involved in it somehow, and it's like a... I don't know. You could see something like Inscriptions, like, you know, the first chapter of Inscription. Feeling very like, all these like weird cards based on weird mythical animals as being quite folklore-y, right? Might be helpful to think of the most obvious ideas first so you can get them out of your mind and think of something interesting. I mean, I think I do that automatically when I'm just going through these themes, and so... And I think sometimes maybe it's just like, what do I define as an idea? But I don't know. I don't know. No matter what your definition, it's really hard for me to say that I could come up with 10 ideas for any one of these themes like easily and throw them all away. Like, no way. And then the really hard part is coming up with an idea that fits the scale. That fits Ludum Dare, you know, that fits 48 hours and just you. Or 72 hours in your team, or 72 hours and just you. For what it's worth, by the way, I'm probably going to be doing the 72-hour version, so yay, more stream! Because around the time the 48-hour deadline would be coming up, my friend is having like a seasonal get-together and a meal that I want to go to because I like my friends, you know? So I'm going to go to that, and then that would either mean I've got to finish super early on the Sunday, which sounds incredibly stressful for already trying to do the combo, or we eat the time loss and we do the 72-hour version and end up with something like a 60-hour game or something like that, right? So I think I'm going to do that. Come with ideas for all these themes. The question is more whether or not they'd be good ones. Do it. Alright. What's your idea for shelter? I promise I'm not going to steal that. I'm just genuinely curious. Throw out. Let's throw out some ideas. Unless you're doing Ludum Dare and you really want to hug it for yourself, you know. Shelter. I do like it when like I never come up with like that kind of like weird stuff. Like people do that. I mean, I know you're probably just joking, but like people like come up with stuff that is just like a weird like meta here. I don't know how to even describe it. Just like hearing the word a different way, like it's a pun or something, right? And like I just never see them coming, and I'm just like, oh wow, how did you even come up with that? I can never do that. Trying to remember the name of this indie game about going around the US during the Great Collection. Huh, interesting. Salvage seems like there's plenty of way to implement some kind of recycling or reusing mechanics. Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's a lot of like my games that would fit like some of these themes, right? Signal would fit Signal Lost very well. I don't know how familiar people are with some of these games. They like go into them or whatever, but that was like a weird like pseudo 3D thing where you flew a thing and it could, if you went too far, it ran out of signal and you were trying to find bits of your spaceship, which could also be seen as salvage, right? Actually, a lot of these are kind of new to me. Limited Space would be viable. I think that even had a similar theme. Running... Limited Space is better than this, I think. Or is it? I don't know. I think it is. I've had to work with some interesting themes. And the thing is, right, I nerd out so much over this and think about like what makes a theme good, what makes a theme bad, and so on and so forth. I don't know why, I just do. And then it's like totally irrelevant, because like this is the thing you really have to remember, is that cool games are gonna get made either way. And if you really work, like if you work at it, you'll come up with something, you know, like. Do I ever opt out of theme? Oh right, so just be like, just make the game I wanted to make. It has nothing to do with the theme, and then just opt out of the voting category. I totally respect doing that. I don't know, I just can't see myself doing that. I think it's just part of a challenge for me, right? I'd feel sad if I did that. I feel like I gave up. But I can totally, like, if you just, like, I don't know, you really just, because this is just an excuse to make games, you know? Don't let it tell you what to do. It's there to set out, like, some guidelines and an idea of just how to make some games. Yeah, if you want to be scored and so on, then you follow the rules as they're laid out. But ultimately, it's just about making games. So if you just be like, you know, if all you needed was for there to be a thing on a weekend that's like, hey, make a game, and you didn't want to be constrained by the theme because you already knew what you wanted to make, go for it. And that's cool. But for me, I don't know, for me the theme's a big part of it. Game based around the player sheltering tiny creatures from a storm. Wait a minute. I'm guessing you thought something to do that. That's a very high level idea though. Like what's the specifics of that? Is that a top-down game? Is it like an RTS? Are you running around on a platform and grabbing little creatures, you know? I think this is what I mean sometimes when I say like what constitutes having come up with an idea. Yeah, I suppose I could probably generate quite a lot of one-liner, like, very high-level concepts. But those to me are not game ideas. Like, they're not specific enough. I didn't say it was it's not a bad idea. I think it's just, like, not what I would qualify as, like, having an idea that's something you could start to just open GameMaker and make, right? Like, you've got to flesh out that idea more, right, in your head before it becomes, like, something you can actually go with. But even then, yeah, like I said, I'm not even sure if I could, like, 10, like, of those. But, like, yeah, because there's a difference as you get more experience, and it's like, you immediately know, like, because most ideas just don't survive. Most high-level ideas like that, especially, like, don't, like, the moment you try and put them into the reality, like, you start thinking about how would this actually be as a game, you're like, I don't want to make any of that, or I don't know, it doesn't sound interesting, or it doesn't fit the scope, or whatever. Miss anything? No, not really, we're just talking about themes, and game jams, and kind of what that's like. Feel like a coward if I opt out? No, I don't know about, not coward, just... It's just an important part of it for me, like, I just find it interesting. I know I said I'd feel like I gave up. That's, like... Because that's what, like, taking part in this kind of means. To me, it's like, it's part of the challenge of trying to come up with something that fits the theme. Like, I don't know, I could see it maybe happening. But I feel like the situation in which, like, I would opt out of the theme is one where I'd ended up getting really frustrated. And just being like, I really don't like this theme or whatever, I just really can't come up with anything I really want to make. So I guess I'm going to opt out of the theme. Like, it feels like a last resort thing, you know? Or if I really didn't get on with the theme. And that's just for me. Tiny Creatures does sound very cute. That's pretty much the only reason I voted it up. I actually don't think it's that good of a theme. But like compared to the others anyway. Because this is a good selection, so the bar is high. But like, it does sound very cute, and I know the kind of thing I would make. I think I would make some kind of just ridiculous Tamagotchi thing, where you just gotta look after a thing in an environment of other things. And see if you can get it to live or survive and thrive. Some sort of like micro like version of Spore, right? Something like those like little, you know, like guy does those like statistical videos with like little blob creatures about like evolution and stuff. I'd make a game like that. Some sort of like Darwinian experiment game, you know? Oh yeah, I'm making a game. Yeah, I was like gonna make like a mobile game. I mean, I don't know. I've started a million projects. I completely forgot about that. I guess the blood of starting infinite projects and never finishing them and just completely forgetting about them never actually left my body. That's something I think about me doing when I was really young. And being like, I don't really do that so much anymore. But I guess I totally do. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know what the project folder is. Yeah. Like I can see him in my head though. I can see what that looked like. I doubt that was even GameMaker Studio 2, you know? I reckon that's probably like 1.x era. Which one am I hating? Because I don't know the one that gets picked. I actually really don't hate any of these. They're actually, like, it's really good. Like, a lot of them I voted down are, like, actually quite good, and they were just ones I didn't personally, like, gel with. Like, I think, I don't know. Like, Locks and Keys is, like, fine, but just kind of clumsy. These kind of just context-only ones. I don't know, I don't think I feel particularly strongly about any of them. But I would be just kind of like, if like any of these red ones got picked, I think. But I think they're all fine, actually. Which is really rare. Hoping for Folklore. A lot of people seem to like that one. Limit Space, yeah, I mean, literally, like, Fireball was running out of space. And the only thing, I mean, the thing I didn't like about that was not even, like, I think it's actually a really good theme, but, like, I think it's just so easy. I mean, this might just be my brain bias, but I reach for mechanical things that most of the ideas and stuff like that I have from that, I feel like they come from games. They come from games that already like exist. And I think like when that's the case, you tend to see a lot of stuff that's been done before. Or just a lot of like, I don't know, people trying to put little twists on things or whatever, just, I don't know, they're less interesting. When the theme makes you think, when you can't think of games, or like when games don't come to mind right away when you think of themes, I think that those are the better ones. Like existing games. Because I don't know, when I read Limited Space, I immediately think of things like just inventory management stuff, you know, your Diablo inventory type of thing, soccer band games, like strategy games with just like limited room in the environment. I don't know, just stuff that just constraints that are just sort of built into games because it's good to build constraints for the player. Like, and that makes things interesting. Things are already, like, you know, like the kind of thing I did for the Infinite Arc with just like you've got this limited inventory, you know. Anti-Unity seems to suggest, I don't know. You get a lot of bad joke themes suggest. I wonder actually what was in the voting round. So this was voting round 1. So it's like some of these got through. So like, you know, obviously Tiny Creatures, we can obviously the ones that got through are the ones that got through, right? You Are the Enemy got voted down. Proud of you all, because that one sucks. Again, like this is a nice classic example of the kind of theme I hate, right? It's like 4 words long. You know, it mentions a specific video game trope, the existence of enemies. I know every game has enemies in it, right? But now there's got to be something that can be considered in some way an enemy. It's not even you are the villain, you know? It's like you are the... I don't know. I suppose it's similar, but like... Yeah, and it's just like... Oh, it's just like trope inversion. Like, I don't know. It just sucks. Just everything about it sucks. And it got voted out, which is good. That's great. I couldn't have done this round better myself. What else got voted out? Metamorphosis. That's actually pretty alright. That's fine. Pick your poison. Yeah, barely really even know that. Like, yeah, get rid of that. That sucks. Witchcraft's cool. Specific, I guess. Consume. This was a really good round one. And I feel like the worst things in it got voted out. That's dope. You are the player. Yeah, I imagine that's it's not gonna get super far. Yeah, roles that's way better. Roles reversed. That's just like a way better theme that touches on the ideas of this, right? So much better way of putting it. What was in round 2? Yeah, again. So there's so many things in here that have been done before that just seem to always make it through anyway, because I guess I know not everyone's done every Ludum Dare, so understandably they don't know that they've been done before. Or care, you know, which is fair. One tool, many uses. Oh, that's actually not been a Ludum Dare theme, but that was the theme, or exactly word for word the theme of the GM48 that led to Pokepoke. So I am extremely glad that that got voted down. It's actually a really good, it's a pretty good theme. Actually, it's one of the few that's actually multi-word and is a good, like, actually pretty cool. It's a theme. I think there's probably better ways to put it that are probably less worth. But I think it's good. Yeah, the community, basically, yeah, you get, like, there's loads, like thousands of options. Like, everyone, you can submit, like, up to 3. And then there's, like, this big slaughter phase where just, like, you get, like, if you take part in the voting for it, you just get shown, like, 2 themes at a time or whatever, and you pick one or the other, and it just, like, or something like that. Or you get shown a theme, and it's just, like, yes, like a good, bad, or slaughter or whatever, like you really hate it kind of thing. I don't know, there's some process by which they just, like, they axe, like, loads of them. And then we end up with, like, I don't know, yeah, however many, right, like, 2 rounds worth of these, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, like 17, 18 themes or whatever, something like, I know it's something close to, like, 40 themes, and we just, like, vote on one pack, then we vote on the other pack, and then we get a final round that combines the winners of those 2. It's a pretty cool process. It's upsetting how many bad themes it's managed to create, but the process is as good as I can think of a process being. Wait, Break the Cycle, was that in this? It is, yeah. I don't know, at a glance I was like, I don't really like that one, but I ended up voting it up. I think I was just revulsed by it being more than one word. Yeah, it's a weird one. I feel positively about it, but can't really explain why. Like, I actually quite like it, but I don't know. I can't actually come up with anything for it. I just think it, I don't know, I think there's some weird interpretations of that that are kind of cool. Wait, wasn't it Overgrowth? No, it was Overgrown. Strange Machines. I'm surprised that, like, it's so popular. Like, what does that even mean? I don't know. Rock, paper, scissors. Yeah, glad that, yeah, I don't know. Don't like that. That's like a whole theme. Right? Yeah, RPS mechanics and stuff are in loads of things and are good and interesting, but, like, as the theme? of the whole jam, every game has to be... Yeah, nah. Not into that. Out of order. That's interesting. I have no idea what I would make for that. But I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Parallel worlds? Yeah. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, you know? Like, it's not, it's fine theme, I just, you know, not for me. Done that too much. Seen it too much. Clockwork. Yeah. Yeah, leave something behind. Is another one of those just like... It's just like a little too specific. Like, I don't know. It's like fine, I guess. But, I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with everything that got voted out in those last 2 rounds, so keep it up, everyone. I've never had, like, I don't know. I can't remember the last time I had time to actually vote, like, across multiple rounds. Like, I've only voted on the final round for, like, the last billion Ludum Dares I've done. There was a few where I even submitted themes and stuff. I don't think they got anywhere close to the end. I actually find it really hard to, like, come up with them on my own. But I'm very good at judging everyone else's. So. You like Strange Machines? I just like, I don't know. What does it mean? Like, what's, I don't know. It's cool, yeah, there's a lot of cool concept, like contextual settings and stuff that you could do. I don't know. You could do something like, you know, Rube Goldberg device type games, I guess. In order to, like, get some, like, mechanical feel from the theme. Factorio style? Yeah. But also that's, like, really... I don't know, what kind of game like that would you make in 48 hours? Like, that's the kind of game that's like, it takes so many components coming together to kind of, what's the word? To, like, emergently create an experience. That was, like, the big mistake I made with, Car with No Name. Was like, oh yeah, we'll make a thing with, like, a super modular car that you drive through the desert and there'll be random things in the desert that you can find. And it was just, like, the idea is cool, but there's just, like, no way to get quickly to the fun without so many game components that all just take so long to do. And so I got the ship part kind of, like, there, and the feeling of that, but, like, you're just sort of riding along on the ship, and then, like, I don't know, nothing really happens. You just start, like, what you do in the game is not very fun. But all those components felt necessary, and I never got to the point where just, like, all the stuff came together. And so I imagine trying to do something like, yeah, just, I don't know, because, like, yeah, like in Factorio, you kind of create strange machines out of machines, you know? It's like you conveyor belts and grabby arms doing things and whatnot, and I'm sure there's, like, simple versions of that and stuff you can do that are interesting. Like I say, some sort of, like, you know, what's it called, like, Tim's Magical Machine or whatever the name of that game is, where you could, like, you build a kind of, yeah, Rube Goldberg thing that does stuff. I think there's some potential there, but even that stuff is like, you got to make so many different parts that do different things and find ways to make them all useful and interesting. It can be content, but I also do mean, like, components as well, just, like, lots of things that work together. And so, like, the better version of a car with no name I made that was still too much. Still too much was the Infinite Arc. Where again, it's like you're flying a ship, but you don't control the ship or anything like that. You just build all the components. You just kind of, yeah, a number just goes up, and then every now and again these events pop up, and it's all text based. And then even that was hard because then, yeah, I still had to make loads of interesting events and stuff though, for it to not like die and be really uninteresting really quickly. So that needed content. So that needed a massive content. And the only way I could get to doing that was by reducing the amount of actual mechanical components that needed to exist as well for it to like get there. I don't know, a bunch of hearts floating up on the do life thing. I don't even know what that's about. Like, is someone doing those events? It doesn't look like they are. It's just they're just floating up on my chat window. I don't know what that means. I haven't seen that before. Maybe like the LD41 theme combined to. I think you're actually being serious as well. I couldn't tell if you were trolling me because that is like infamously my most hated theme of all time. Like I went on a full-blown rant about it in my like jam videos video. I can't tell, you might just be trolling me. I absolutely despised that theme. I still made a game that was alright, I think. What was it? Yeah, tarot cards. Tower defense deck building game. Like, not only does it force you to draw your ideas from games, it forces you to draw ideas from games that already right. Well, you're gonna get the rant, right? So the reason I hate this theme forces you to draw all your ideas from games that already exist, right? You're combining genres, so you're already thinking about tropes. You're thinking about games that exist and how to like smash them together. Also, the sentence just doesn't make any goddamn sense. Combine two incompatible genres, right? If you take two genres and you mix them together and remix them into a thing that's actually fun and interesting, then those two genres were never incompatible. They're compatible because you just proved that they're compatible. So now you're no longer even following the theme because you made something good. The only way to follow that theme is to make something that sucks. And I know like the real interpretation of it's meant to be like, oh, yo, combine two things that you would think are incompatible but are actually compatible, and that's kind of like, I guess, how like you have to see it to do anything. But again, yeah, you pull stuff that just exists. It's just like, okay, deck building's a thing, tower defense is a thing. Let's like put those together, and I'm just like working with tropes, working with stuff that already exists, and that can be kind of fun, you know. But like, I feel like that should be an opt-in experience, not something forced upon you by the theme. And I don't know, I think it's just like the least interesting possible like theme I could ever imagine coming up with. I imagine good games did come out of it, because good games come out, it doesn't matter what the theme is, actually. No matter how much I nerd and rant about this stuff, it doesn't matter what the theme is, people will make cool games. What's the invite code for sign-in? I have no idea what you're talking about. You go to this website, there'll be a login button in the corner or whatever, or a create account. You gotta make an account. Make an account. I don't know how you do that, but do that. And I log out. Be like, yeah, create account. Click this. You make some things. You do all this stuff. Wait, if you need an invitation? Wait, what? You need an invite code? Whoa, okay, this is new. This is new. I didn't know about this. So yeah, this is why I was confused, because I'm like, I've never heard of this. What's... So check the Twitter. New users can sign up with this code. Oh wow, is this like some spam prevention thing? Why is there a code? I guess it must, like, I don't know, there's gotta be some reason why they don't want people to just be able to sign up or whatever. Unauthorized. I mean, I signed in just fine, but apparently it's this. I'll put it in both chats for anyone else who needs it. Wild. That's kind of upsetting that they've had to do that for whatever reason they've had to do it. I'm sure they have a good reason for it. We jam it? We will be. Tomorrow. I imagine it's so upsetting that it starts at 11 now. It used to start at like 2 AM, and that's like, I was fine with that. You know, it started like, because obviously I wouldn't be awake then, and it's fine. I would just wake up, see what the theme is, and get going. But like, now it's like it expects me to actually start today. Like 11 PM. That's like exactly the time. It's like optimized for me to lose as much time as possible because like that's the time I want to go to sleep. Like it couldn't actually be a worse time. How do I give you money? Oh my gosh. We'll answer that question real quick. Well, I mean, I think the best way to give me money, honestly, is to go and buy something of mine. Just go to my itch page. There's all kind of things. Everything is pay what you want. So just, I don't know, just find anything. Buy another perspective and be like, here, have $20. You know? I'm pretty sure everything is like, yeah, you can just type in whatever value you want. And then you get something. So, that's cool. I don't have like a shout out thing on the stream or anything for that. I think you can like, if you want that kind of thing, I think all that exists is the super chats on YouTube. But then you got to give YouTube some money or whatever, and that sucks. Or Patreon. Thank you, Books Now. Yeah, my other things. All the things. But I suppose Patreon's more like if you want to regularly give me money. But also, you can also just... It's pay up front now, so you can just like sign up, pay $20 or however much, and download whatever the heck you want. In fact, that's actually probably better, because I think you get access to more stuff. Do that, and then like unsign up or whatever. You can also become a member on YouTube now. We have YouTube memberships now. Something I constantly forget about. There's like 2 people that have them or whatever, but they tend to show up a lot. And you can get like... We got little emotes. You can do like... Look at all these... All 4 of these emotes. I've worked really hard on. Oh wait, how do I close this now? There we go. I don't know where the button is for that, but it's somewhere. Oh yeah, that code thing's kind of weird. What's that? Features aren't available. What feature? Wait, dang, I logged out, didn't I? Am I logged back in now? Yes. Well, no, I went to that. I don't remember logging back in. No, I need to log back in. Also. Oh. I nearly gave you 35 grand. You didn't? Ugh. Thank you for whatever you actually did do. It's very much appreciated. Oh, MQ, I've only just realized who you are. There's something about the way it's written down there, like with it starting with like a phonetic M, you know? Like I just read it as like someone who's called like Emily or Emma or something like that, right? And then like, I don't know, I just like sort of said it out loud in my head. It was like MQ, oh. Price, yeah, good thing too. You probably could have given me 35 grand for all I know. But thank you. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Oh yeah, I opened GameMaker, I was gonna look for that Tamagotchi thing I was making, like forever ago. I don't know what I would have called it. Or where it would be. Yeah, I don't even think it would be in local projects anymore, it would be in like... old, like it might still be when, like I used to store these on Dropbox and then that caused issues. So I just stopped using it like that. Oh yeah, there is loads of old stuff like I actually worked quite a lot on and then totally abandoned. Buzzball. What's this? What, like this is like when I just like got started making games. Like this was old stuff. I want to see what Fuzzball was. And let's test just how I have to sell some shares to do that. yeah, probably. Old projects. Like I had a whole thing. I think it was only on Facebook though. I'm not sure. I should probably share it somewhere else. Like a thing of just like old games I made when I was like 12. What's this? Randomly used to throw click once. What on earth is this? I don't remember this. Oh. I think it was some sort of like marbles kind of thing I was working on. Where you were just trying to, I don't know, get some sort of get as close as you can to the middle kind of game. There was going to be like a little competitive like mobile thing. I vaguely remember this. It's actually pretty good. Like it feels nice. Obviously it's just a little bit of squares and stuff. Oh, and you can, yeah, you get one little double jump you can do. Yeah, you click once while mid-air to do like a little mid-air bounce. You get one double jump. But they don't bounce on each other. That's interesting. Oh, I didn't know how to code, right? So I used a thing called, click and play. Maybe I have this somewhere. Let me have a little browse around. I'm sure I've shown this off on stream before somewhere. Like, yeah, there's a thing called Click and Play that was like the prequel to Macromedia Fusion. And whatever that is now, if it is even still a thing. But it was all like drag and drop logic. But it taught me a lot, weirdly. Like, you know, like it taught me just the concept of just like basically how GameMaker works with like events and actions and stuff, and just when X happens, do Y kind of thing, right? Oh yeah, I don't know. Don't know where this would be. Images, my stuff. Old games. Yeah. Yeah, it was this stuff. This is the stuff I was making when I was really little, right? And things like whatever the hell this was. Just like there was just a bunch of random, like, because you got like art assets built into the program and just like stuff just bouncing around the screen, and you would move this terribly drawn crosshair around and try and shoot stuff. And you would just have like a like this red text was like a timer or something that would tick down. Yeah, they would all have this little icon, like it's like old version of Windows, and I don't even know what version of Windows it was, but like something ancient. Bug Wars. Look at this title screen. 2 exclamation marks. I don't know how old I was. Dang. Yeah, 2016 is when I like found a disc with all these on. It has not already started. No, Ludum Dare is not until like 11 o'clock BST, whatever that is in your time zone. Currently it's 20 past 5 where I am, so it starts in like 5.5 hours. Quick maths. 11 minus 5.5. So it took me a long time. Yeah, bug was pretty. It's like you was like some, I don't know, compare if there's a red bug and a green bug. I think I must have really manually changed those colors as well. I don't remember there being like good image editing tools. I think I must have done that really by hand. I think the red bug was built in, and then I just like drew a bunch of green colors over it. And then I don't know, it was like some sort of weird competitive Pac-Man. But you just get stuck on stuff all the time, right? Because it wouldn't like... It's not like I would constrain you to a grid like something sensible. You could just like move really precisely, so you could just like get stuck on these corners and stuff like really easily. I remember this. There was a random bug mooching around that would like kill you, and you could, I don't know, shoot a thing down this one corridor if you wanted to walk all the way around here and stun the other player for like a second. Total waste of time. Wow, yeah. This was cool. This is like one of my most like, I don't know. This was just a cool one for me because it was based on experiences. It was just like the 3 cats we used to have at my mom's house. Like there was a cat, Millie, who was like kept getting bullied so much by the other 2 cats, and I like made a game about it. It was like the cat would, and she would always do this thing where she would hang on the door to be like let in. Like when she wanted to come in, like go in and out the house, she would hang on the door, and it was just a funny thing. I remember a game where she was doing that and like shouting to try and like get my mum to come and like open the door. And then like the game was like all the other 2 cats were like trying to like bully her, so you'd have to like alternate between meowing at the door, meowing like left or right, and it would like push the other cats back. And because like this was Moglet, who was like a really greedy cat who ended up really fat, and so I drew her a little bit fatter. And made it so that she moved slower as well, so it just made this weird, interesting, asymmetric gameplay. It was actually like really interesting, and it was drawn entirely from just like real life experiences and nothing to do with games that I already like knew, really. It was actually like, I don't know, there was just something really, really cool about this one. I have no idea, I must have been really young when I made it. And it had a whole narrative, like this was the narrative screen, like explained how the game worked. Yeah, it was wild. And then there was like more games. There were going to be like a whole bunch of other like mini games like it that would like stem on from there. But like I don't know, they got less and less finished as like you go through them. What else is interesting in here? I don't know. I mean, it's all kind of the same, just like weird, wild ideas made up of all these just art things slammed together. Don't know what this was meant to be, some sort of golden axe type of thing. I don't know. Not a clue. Some weird other stuff in here from way later on in life, though. Like, this was me just learning how to, like, make maps in, like, Half-Life engine for the first time, you know? I was like, oh, I was gonna make, like, a Sven Co-op map where you've landed on a space station or something. Actually, looks pretty cool. Yeah, there's some stuff. I'm sure there was one that's just like not even a game. Can't see it in here, but like there were some of these that were just like a title screen and a picture of a dragon, and that was just it. Like I just made a title screen and then like not even done any other game and just be like, yeah, that was just a project that just existed. I think this was like that. Or the Black Magic Dungeon of the Abyss. What's the name of a game? And there was an option, yeah, new game, new multiplayer game, and quit. And there was a main menu, and none of these buttons did anything. And this is just a screenshot from black and white. That was a game project of mine at some point or other. Yeah, wild. I don't know. Yeah, new games for a long time. Longer than I'd realized. But yeah, none of those like used code, you know, that was all like drag and drop stuff. Further than most of your projects get? What, your projects don't get beyond a non-functional menu screen? yeah, I thought this might have been... Oh yeah, Fuzzball. Yeah, I don't know. I've not really gone through a lot of this folder, though. This old, like, GameMaker stuff. I'm guessing they were going to be, like, little weird fuzzy fuzzball creatures or something. That's why I called it Fuzzball. I'm a Box. Yeah, I remember that. Even made music for that. I don't want to play because it'll be really loud and I don't want to manage the audio levels, but that was a whole thing. Minimay. Oh yeah, we could spend hours in here. Tamo, that might be it. Tamagotchi Tamo. Oh no, not new IE. Import project. GameMaker. Stay in my head and then I'm just lazy and or scared of failure. Well, have you considered just opening GameMaker and trying, and then failing, and then maybe the next time you fail won't be as scary? Yeah, I think this was it. I don't remember him looking like that, though. I'm looking a bit different. Oh, now he looks totally different. Oh, was I trying to do some, like, flash, like, vector stuff? Was he moving around? Yeah, he, like, moved to my cursor. Like, sees my cursor or whatever, and then, like... Do I have to click? No, it's just, I don't know if he notices it. Don't know what the deal is. And that's just a sprite, so what's the... Oh yeah, Swift sprite, or whatever, and it's just rendered weirdly in here. Yeah, because I wanted to do more Swift stuff, because I was quite good at, like, drawing in Flash. Now it's like Adobe Animate or whatever, and I don't even know how to open it. Well, I mean, if there was a time that you wanted to set yourself to try and just make something and fail miserably, this weekend's a pretty good opportunity. If you've got nothing else going on. There's this little thing called Ludum Dare happening. Howdy, Sean, I've been following you since your first GameMaker RPG. Cool, awesome. Glad to have you here. Always overplanned my games, like massive open world 2D games I would never be able to make, and I kept failing and failing at making them, but I got better every time. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way. It's like, doesn't feel very efficient as a learning thing. So it's like, we always try and tell people not to do it, but I just don't know that there's like any other guaranteed process. You gotta stumble up the mountain. Maybe there's a better way to do it. I don't know. Really initialize game. Oh, enums. Like state enums? Wait, could you hold them? You can. Oh yeah, if he's like near enough? To the chase state. He just chases your mouse when you're close enough. But oh yeah, also you can pick him up. Pick him up, drop him somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. I kept thinking about Tamagotchi like games and like I'm going to make some little look after a pet creature kind of game. But I don't know, I never really got beyond just this. Because a lot of how I explore my ideas is I literally just start making them. You know, I just start making stuff. Which is like terrible because I don't plan anything. But also great because like, I don't know, I just immediately start thinking about it in a macro sense, and I start thinking about everything it would need, and it's just like the way I know for my ideas to then hit the wall of like, oh, actually, yeah, this is not a good idea, and then I chuck it away. So that's why I end up with all these billion like barely started little projects. Because I think that's, I don't know, I think that's fine. I think that's just part of how I do things. And it'd be easy for me to look at that and be like, oh, I just never finished anything. It's like, well, really, I just don't properly start a lot of things. I just decide to move on. Like, if I didn't finish Pokepoke now, that would be not finishing something. But I think a lot of these things, it's just like, you know, I screw around with something for a few days. And then I'm like, yeah, no. Awesome, that's really cool, Alex. Hey, Simplified. Yeah, what else is in there? I actually probably should come off soon because I probably want to go sort out food, but I might stream again later since the theme is gonna... The theme gets announced at like 11. But yeah, at some point between now and then I want to, you know, get something to eat. And also probably buy some stuff for the weekend. You know, go to the shops or something. Do I try to have at least a small idea for each theme beforehand, or do I wait till the theme is announced? So yeah, I've talked about this before. Like, no, I don't. I don't really know how to. I don't know. I don't do that. It feels too wasteful to me. Like the amount of work it takes for me. Like, I don't know. Ideas are not that cheap for me. What I qualify as an idea anyway, or what I can like write down and think that's an idea. Like those. Like I don't come up with a lot of those. Like, even for the theme as it gets now, you know, like... Like, I mean, we were talking about Shelter earlier, and someone's like... You know, I'm like, oh, what would your idea be for that? And they were like, oh, you know, like, a game where you go from shelter to shelter protecting small animals or something, right? I was like, that's not really a game idea, is it? Like, I mean, it's a concept, a high-level concept of a thing you might be doing in the game, but like, you know, is that top-down? Is it 2D? Is it like, is it platform? Yeah, what, like, what is that game? You know? And so, like, for me, I have to know a lot more about what the game is for me to be able to say that's a game, that's an idea. And so, like, the idea of, like, doing that thinking work and coming up with it for every theme, even when only one of them is actually going to be a thing I'm going to do, that just sounds like too much work. And yeah, there's the risk of that too, right? You get really excited about one of those things you actually came up with, and then, like, it's not that theme. And then you're just screwed. I did not realize the joke was you were applying Tiny Creatures theme to the shelter. No, I didn't get that. But my point remains the same, you know, like, I think a lot of, I mean, whether you did or not, I don't know, but like, a lot of people, I think, have a looser definition for themselves of what an idea is. And so, like, I don't know. It'd be like... I don't know, like, for signal, your phone is running out of signal and you've got to, like, find it before it fully runs out. And as it runs out more, it's, like, harder and harder to find or something, I don't know. Right? I mean, that's, like, yeah, a conceptual idea, but, like, I've told you nothing about what the game actually is, other than, I guess, other than the fact you're trying to find a thing. You're trying to find a 2D thing? Like, is it a 3D thing? Are we in, like, a big house? Are we, like... what's the scope of it, both contextually and mechanically? Like, there's just nothing there. Whereas, like, I don't know, like, what's the idea for something I've already made? Like, what my game? Like, Depth is like a game about falling down a big 3D pit. And you just have to avoid hitting things and getting as far as you can, and you eventually like just keep discovering new weird areas. That's an idea, right? I mean, it helps that you can literally see what I'm describing there, right? But that's a game idea. Like with that, with the information about what it is in mind, can you start making it? That's like, I guess, what qualifies for me. Or do you have to work out loads more about what the idea is before you can start making it? Stream thumbnail jump scared you by making you realize it's Ludum Dare time already. It snuck up on me. Like, it's been in my calendar for ages, but there's, I don't know, there's like last week where I'm just like, wow, it's this weekend? It's kind of crazy. Honestly, it's not at the ideal time, but I'm just like, man, I've really not done one in ages. I really want to do one again. So I'm just sucking it up and doing it. It's going to be a good time. Shelter game, like, collect resources before a timer runs out to make a shelter to see how long you can last a night. Yeah, I think that counts. I mean, like, sure, those are the questions, like, is that a 2D game? Is it a 3, is this a first-person shooter or whatever, or is it a platform game? I feel like that's kind of important to clarify, but, like, you can start making that, And you probably have an idea in your head, even when you write it down, of what that looks like, right? So yeah, that qualifies as an idea, I think, for a thing. But like, for me, and maybe it's, I think it probably is just me, the way people talk about how many ideas they have. Like, I don't come up with that many. Like, I don't know. It takes quite a bit of brain power for me to just come up with like even one of them for most things. So I'm definitely not going to sit and go through like every theme, do that. Some people do. Some people do that. And I don't know, again, if they're like coming up with looser versions of ideas, but I don't know. I don't find those that helpful. Or if they're coming up with like, proper game ideas. But either way, it's not something I could really do. Like, that I would actually want to make as well. I'm just like I could do it for the sake of doing it, but like I don't think when I came back to it, like usually I have to. I think usually I go with something like my third idea or something like that for whatever the theme happens to be, roughly. Sometimes it's the first thing I come up with. I just think is really cool, and I'll try and come up with a couple more. But then I'm like, no, I really like that first thing, and then I make that. But usually it's something like the second or third thing. I try and do like a little brain, mind map thing, but even that, like, it results in a bunch of concepts that then end up as basically like 3 ideas, Yeah, maybe that's just how it works for me, but I just can't really see it any other way. I don't know how people are like, yeah, I've written down like 50 ideas. I'm just like, what? And sometimes I struggle for ages just coming up with anything. Or I come up with like 1, 2 things, but I don't really like either of them. Like, sometimes it takes me a really long time to really get going with anything. Combine 2 incompatible genres drove me insane. This I think I remember coming up with pretty quickly. This was like one of my favorite entries, favorite jams. Not necessarily one of my best performing, but like, I mean, it did pretty well. But yeah, that one crushed it. What was the theme? It would have been something simple like just deeper and deeper or something like that. Oh, we have to go deeper. Deeper and deeper, yeah. This one was kind of nice. Your life is currency. Yeah, I tried to do like a black one. Again, it was one of those like trying to do a game where the fun comes out of the emergent. Yeah, the fun is an emergent property of loads of interesting components all working together, which requires you to make loads of interesting components that work well together. And just it didn't really. I ended up being like, oh crap, I've not really got the fun out of this. But we need to turn it into a game real quick, and it became like a really like not very good tower defense thing. My idea was kind of loose, and I was just like, yeah, we'll just build stuff and kind of like find the fun of it, because it was very simulation-y at first. And like a lot of good like feely bits. Like, I don't know, it looks quite cool in these GIFs, right? But like the gameplay was just, I don't know, it was just not much there. I get what information or something like. Or do, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how you have to imagine it, right? Combine two genres that you don't see together often. But again, even then, I just hated, like, I'm just slamming tropes together, genres by being tropes by definition, right? Slamming things that already exist together and hoping they create something interesting is just, I don't know. It reminds me of all those, like, it's like the worst version of that kind of, you are the weapon, kind of, or like, I don't know. Not my thing. Hey, Vibe Dev. Look at your icon, that's cute. Little pink-orange gradient on a hand. This is another overscoped nightmare. Kinda cool, though. What's the theme for that? The more you have, the worse it is. Yeah, and it just didn't really come across in the game. You know, for how long and specific it is, it could be worse as a theme. Like, I don't know, there aren't a lot, like, I get what it's trying to say, and there aren't a lot of other ways to say that I can immediately think of. And I just didn't do very well with it. But I say, a lot of the time the theme doesn't matter all that much. It's just interesting. I like nerding out about it, but it, like, ultimately people will make good stuff regardless. And some of the themes I've hated the most, I've still come up with, like, cool games for. And these are just, like, these are only the ones on the new site. I don't really, like, Node.js, Ludum Dare, old site? No, how that... I don't know how I see, like, the old... I don't think you can even get the old page up, can you still? Like, the old... Yeah. No, that's Ludum Dare. Oh yeah, ludumdare.com goes there now too, yeah, I think, because they got rid of the old site. I think you can still get there on, like, Wayback Machine. Probably easy just to go to my website. Can't remember what I did for the video. Oh, what did he start? Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, they're not even all on here. We can never be able to keep this up to date. Like, this was actually really... This was 4 entire game on one screen. and actually ended up like, which I hated. I hated that theme so much. But like, this game was actually pretty cool. It's kind of like almost a weird, abstract 2D Minecraft, right? You just like, you absorbed tiles and you could place those tiles, and you could absorb the volume meter and it would actually decrease the volume of the game, and like, that was kind of like my thing for it. And then again, it was kind of like, oh damn, we need an actual game here. And it was like, okay, you have to just get to these randomly placed purple floaty things. You build enough of them that a portal appears and you win the game. And after you've collected a few of them, enemies start to show up, these red things moving about. But that was actually quite fun. I don't know, it was just a fun little loop. Just a silly little thing, but like, I think quite often I do that kind of thing where I build like something kind of like just a fun tool that's just sort of like a sandbox thing to just doss around in, and then I'm like, oh crap, I'm running out of time, what does the player do here? What's the goal? And then like, feel like I shoehorn that in. Maybe I need to be braver and just let the game just be what it is more often. Like, yeah, like, and this is what I mean, it's just like, you don't need a good theme to make something interesting. It helps to have a theme that you like, you know? But like, oh, I see a lot of people just being like, okay, I can take part in Ludum Dare if it's one of these 3 themes, and if it's anything else, I'm just not taking part because this is just like, they're all just bad and I can't come with it. People get really like about it. I don't know. Oh, I wonder if there's any posts actually. There often is, like. What do most people use? Like LD Jam? Oh, no. I want to see votes. Usually you see a lot of people like going over the votes. Okay, here's one. See how just immediately. I mean, actually, to be fair, this person's mostly neutral. They're just immediately way less green than mine. I feel like I'm always just so much more like, I upvote so much more than everybody else. But to be fair, they've upvoted more than they've downvoted, and so I'm mostly neutral. It's pretty cool. Oh, that was round 2 as well. It's not even the final round. Yeah, no one's posted like. Oh, normally you see loads of these. Look at this. I've seen this image a million times. I don't know what it is. Ludum Dare, maybe. Okay, here's one. I'm gonna be a little more positive this year, maybe. Pattern of 2. To be fair, like I said, I think it's a much better selection this time. Yeah, only voted up one word themes. We like this person. Damn. Well, that's round 1. But yeah, still. Not all of round 1 was excellent, though. But I respect the positivity. No more? Is that all we got? That's all we got. Any suggestions for someone doing the jam for the first time? Yes. Scale down. Whatever you want to try and do something small. It's pretty much guaranteed to be a good idea. Treat it as a learning experience. Don't worry too much about anything. All the terrible mistakes you make will teach you something. Try and finish something. It might not end up how you want it. It might not be what you thought you were going to be able to make. Try and just make something that you can submit, you know? It might crash, it might be buggy, it might, you know, like, there might be very little to it, but just don't be afraid to submit whatever you got and be like, this is what I came up with. No, I don't know, I feel people are like, well, it's like a competition, I'm not going to submit it unless it's like of a certain kind of quality, but like, that, just shove it in. Whatever, just do what you can on the time, shove it in. Don't give up until the deadline. You get something I think a lot of people don't realize is you get a bonus hour as well. Well, I hope they've not changed that, and I'm just gonna get quote of them just confirming the rules. Where are the rules out? Yeah. So there's a submission now. I think it's almost purposely a little bit hidden, but like, you don't have to worry about like submit. You know, when you see that deadline creeping up on the website or whatever, it's like, oh my god, there's only however many hours left or whatever. You don't have to. You can work on the game right up until the last second. All of the like stuff when it comes to uploading it to the website, you know, building the game, all that kind of thing, you do that in the submission hour that you get as a thing after. So it's like it's a 48-hour, like if you're doing the compo, for example, it's a 48-hour game jam and then an hour to submit. So it's like 49 hours in a weird way. But you're not really meant, you know, book sales as submission hour, also known as cramming new features hour. The spirit of it is you work up until the deadline, and then you stop doing any actual work on the game, and then you just build it. You'll if it's like major blockers, like, you know, the game crashes because of some variable you didn't name right or something or whatever, you fix that. Critical fixes, perfectly fine. But like, I mean, you can even do that after the fact in the voting stuff, right? As long as it's, you know, of a specific kind of severity of crash or something like that that you need to fix. But ideally, you don't do any more work on the game. You definitely don't add any new stuff, and that's when you upload it to the site. You make a new, you probably already made a new game. If you haven't already, go join the event. I don't think you have to anyway. As long as you joined by the end of the thing, so you don't have to do any. You don't have to sign. I mean, it makes sense. Sign up to the website and everything, make a thing and whatnot. But like, you make a game, you join the event, and then you get my game, and then you fill this in. You title, description, all this stuff, you upload some images and whatever, do all this kind of thing, you do all this in the submission hour. Difficult to upload or submit from GameMaker? No, not really. You upload your source code, whatever is a YYZ is usually the easiest way, because that's basically like a zip file. And then your web game is just like, you do like, just like do the create executable or whatever it is. What was that? I just got people for the selected platform. What, Windows? It's just because of something old with this project? Oh, well, it's working now. We just had to reset it up there. But yeah, it just packages zip or whatever. I would do zip rather than installer. Generally speaking, it's a bit more flexible. And then yeah. And you can't upload directly to Ludum Dare though. This is a bit of a gotcha. You need to upload it somewhere yourself. The easiest place to do that is probably something like itch.io. But you can also just like upload to like Google Drive or whatever, Dropbox, if you really just want like a link or something to just stick in these, right? Careful with Google Drive though. Remember, make sure you've given people permission to access it. Or sometimes I click on a link to a game and it goes to a Google Drive folder and it's just like, send an email to such and such to ask for permission to access this file. So make sure you've got it on like view, publicly accessible. Yeah, so you do have to host your own files. Like, just read the things. You know, a lot of the guy, like, most important stuff, just, like, you want to come read the... Wait, this is a different page. Hang on. Oh, I do want to read that in a second, but, like... Yeah, read the rules page. Where this under... Yeah, read this. Read all of this. Because I think it just covers... I mean, it's kind of long, but just read it, you know? Just any weird little gotchas like that will be probably covered in here. Yeah, because it even does say, like, you have to upload that thing elsewhere. Yeah. So definitely read the rules page, just so you don't miss anything stupid, but, like... It's all fairly forgiving and straightforward. Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people do use the installer option. It's kind of annoying because it just makes it harder to clean up. More positive could have fooled me. Feels like people are more negative based on the main feed posts in the LD Discord. There's a Discord? Oh, I should join the Discord. Anyway, yeah, hey folks, my apologies for the radio silence. I was extremely excited to get many of you to help me test a new beta web. There's another... Oh my god, they keep making new websites. Okay, this one looks basically the same, but still. I feel like as long as I've known Ludum Dare, there's been a beta website. There's been like a new website with new things that are not always working, you know? It's just this ongoing thing with Mike for just forever. Oh, mine got COVID. Fucking sucks. COVID really sucks. Not a fan. Oh, I thought maybe there was going to be an explanation of what was going on with invitation codes here, but there is not. I'm just curious as to why they added it. You know what the deal is with that. Mentioned in here. I don't know what Akamai is, but they are apparently a sponsor. Anyone know who they are? I don't know who they are. There's people saying they're in, they're gonna make games. They seem negative to me. Oh, theme poll. Oh, hell yeah. What did I vote? What did I vote for? Shelter, Break the Cycle, Signal, Folklore, Sanctuary, Salvage, Reflect, Tiny Creatures, and Absorb. Results. Strange Machines? What do people like about this one? I don't know, like it's not awful, but like, really, is it that appealing? Glad Locks and Keys is down here. Tiny Creature. I could see why everyone would vote for Tiny Creature. I can at least see that. I don't know. It's just kind of like, honestly, I'll be hype enough for it. Like, I'm big on my robots at the moment. You know, I'll make a robot game. Hell yeah. But it just gives no, yeah, it doesn't give ideas, you know. There's no like, other than what someone was saying, like Factorio-y stuff of like actually building machines or whatever, you know, like creating automated things. A dangerous genre to try and do jam scale stuff in, but like there's some interesting stuff there. But like other than that, like just what, I don't know. Maybe I'd just make something daft and simple. I'd make like just some sort of arena shooter, but with like kind of like an Armored Core flavoring, where you can like swap out your robot bits or something. Funky instead of generic industrial. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but again, like the way you describe that is just context again, right? Like, what's the game? Like, sure, we learn a bit more about the flavor and the environment or whatever, but like, what's the, you know? 300 participants, more or less. Very even, though. That's a very, like, even spread, it feels like. Like, there's just not a lot of difference between top and bottom here, right? That's 300 people participated in the poll. Like, I don't know. Why is this team winning it? Shit. Jammer gave the theme +1. Be like that as well. Like, it'll be like, why did this win? It'll be one I voted up. Like, to be honest, like, honestly, it's like really hard. Like, it may have sounded like, oh, why is that winning? Because it's just like, it's relative, you know? It's like, I've got to like, it's like one of the worst ones of a really good bunch. So it's like, when I'm like, oh, about that, it's like, I'd actually be totally happy with this one. Totally happy with it. I can't think of any that I'm going to be really annoyed by. I'd be disappointed. Disappointed that people don't follow my exact aesthetic, like theme, rules, objective, and aesthetic, right? But like none of them where I'm just like, oh, I've like. Honestly, in a weird way, like I think it's a good theme. I think Break the Cycle is probably one I'd struggle the most with. So why have I voted it up? I'm gonna vote it down. I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind on that one. Kept thinking about changing my mind on it for a while, but like I think it can be good. I just like I think I will just personally struggle with it. Like to do something at scope in that as well. Like I can think of some big scope game ideas for that, but like thanks, Mark. I spent a really long time making it, as you can tell. Maybe having complete odd tasks or some random machine that took you hostage. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, right? Just like corrupt AI or something like that. Some kind of GLaDOS-like weird machine. I mean, yeah, that's Portal, right? Completing odd task for a random machine that took you hostage. That is Portal. Or it's the narrative flavor of Portal. Doesn't say anything about the gameplay of Portal. That's kind of what I say was my issue with the theme in a lot of ways. Right now I'm working on a platformer tribute to the Game Boy. I believe I submitted it for Feedback Friday stream a while ago. Cool. Person has been doing this poll for the last 4 LDs, it was correct one. Is that a joke, or do you actually know that? What do I mean, to be fair, I imagine the poll, like, yeah, I imagine it's often wrong, if they do it a lot. What do I think of LD51 theme every 10 seconds? I think I'm glad I wasn't in that jam. I don't like those. I really don't like the time ones where it's like they actually put like a number on it. You know, like every 10 seconds, or like you have 10 seconds, or you have 5 seconds, or you have 7 seconds, or whatever. But they're really popular. They're really popular themes, and I'm just like, I don't know, it just feels like you've got to I mean, I guess that's probably what's interesting about it to people, is you've got to wrestle something to like fit that very specific window. But it just feels like I'm thinking about such a narrow... I don't know, that's just not what I want to be thinking about when it comes to game ideas, I guess. So maybe that's just a personal thing. I mean, it's all a personal thing, but yeah. One that did have a specific number that I did was like, what was it, 2-button controls? Or something? I don't like the theme, but it's actually led to one of my favorite games. As I say, the theme doesn't always really matter. Life is Short. This one was great. Actually, this was a combo one, right? I think this was a joint win. Which you got to imagine that's kind of be rare, right? Like the votes actually line up to give an equal score to 2 themes. But that's what happened in this one. I'm pretty sure it was this one, where the themes were growing and 2-button control. That was, I don't know, that was just super interesting. I don't know, I'm glad it doesn't happen every time, but like, it was a really good theme combined with one that's kind of air, because it just feels like an annoying constraint. But actually that constraint, you know, I have to admit, is a big part of what I think made this game really work well. Some people said I cheated because it was like 2-button controls. I was like, well, the mouse has 2 buttons. So I was just like, okay, the entire game is controlled with the mouse. Like, some people were like, well, no, it's not how it's going to be like 2 keyboard buttons, because then like you can't just aim with the mouse and stuff as well. But I don't know. I thought it was a perfectly fine use of it, and I'm glad I did that. Like, I don't know, I think normally if I made this kind of game, maybe I would make it with a totally different control scheme than I did, but like the mouse controls actually were really cool. Like, there's just something super, like, just super chill about, like, I know people's minds are going to go to the gutter, but literally playing it with one hand, you know? Like, it's there's just, I don't know, there's something really, really nice about that. It just, like, just felt really good to play. Just like it made interactions like really simple, and just like that constraint forced a lot of simplicity in the game. Actually that constraint really, like, you know, I'm not actually really huge on the concept a lot of the time, and it's a really popular one. The concept of like, constraints breed creativity. Obviously, to a degree, it's very true, and a part of that is why like I like there being a theme in the first place, right? To have some kind of constraint. But like, I don't know, I think people can get too into that. Like, it is wisdom, but I think, like, I don't know, you can take that way too far. But this is a case in which it really did pay off, I think. Like, the constraint of those 2-button controls and be like, okay, it's all just got to be on the mouse. It was like you would go into like how the shop would work. It's like you'd walk into the door, and then it would be like, here's an item you could buy. Right click if you want to buy it, or left click to like leave the shop. You know, like and then the item would just sort of pop out. But it was just like a really nice, simple, like, it let me code things in really like simple ways that were just kind of cool, you know? So I wasn't thinking about like, okay, we're going to an item shop, how am I going to show you the shop's inventory and what you can buy? No, it became this interesting thing of, well, you've only got 2 buttons, you can either buy or not buy, so I'm just going to like have to show you like a random item, and then that was actually really interesting. It's like you don't know what you're going to get. Was interpreted as every action requires a button combination. I'm sure someone probably did something like that, you know? You always get so many weird and wild interpretations of every theme. Even themes that you would think that there are, like, no other, like, interpretations of. People find them, you know? When there's a lot of people all being creative at once, you get some wild stuff, you know? Which is what makes it so disappointing when you see the same themes coming up over. It's so weird and contradictory that you see so many of like the same themes like showing up again and again. Again, this set's been really good actually, but like you do see so many themes that just come up every time, and yet when it comes to the games people actually make, like it's actually quite rare to see like 2 games that are really, really similar. Which is actually really surprising, right? You'd think you'd see, like, I don't know. You just think with every theme, it's like, okay, here's the game that 80% of people are going to make. But that's not usually the case. Yeah, I mean, there are games, you know, people make duplicates and so on. There's games I've made that are basically the same as other games people have made in the same jam and so on, you know. What's the theme this time? It's one of these. It's going to be one of these themes. We don't know which one yet. At 11 o'clock we will know. I should try and set up a timer. I used to have that, but it was always like, I don't know, I did it a different way every time. I feel like it always breaks in a different way every time. I think what like I started doing was literally just using the website. Yeah, I would just like clip this, right? Do I not have that somewhere? Do I have that as a source somewhere maybe? No. I'm sure I can, yeah, like there's a way you can do that, right? Do like browser source, LD timer. And we'll just take like the URL of ldjam.com. Okay. Basically it'll load like the whole website. But like, what we can do... Well, that's weird. Why's it got like transparency there? Guess it's loading like on a mobile. How do I get it to show the time? You probably need to make it wider. Yeah. And then do this. Why is it transparent? I mean, that's kind of. I mean, that could be kind of cool. I have it above my head. I don't know why it's done that transparency. Custom. Oh, I've got like a custom CSS thing. Body background color. Oh, did I set this up for something else? If I take that off. Yeah, we end up with this. But now I've done it. I don't know. Now I don't know if that was something left over. But it's actually pretty cool. I might just leave it like that. Keep it precise with it. Yeah, dope. How do I like unselect everything? I always end up. I hate seeing just like the red thing around whatever I've got selected. I think I've moved my monitor slightly now as well. Ugh. What's that in the corner? Oh my god, what am I moving? Something's moving. I don't know what that was. Oh, it's GameMaker. Is it? Oh yeah, I think it is. Put you over that. There we go. God, OBS is hard. Oh, okay, just clicking again did it eventually solve it. So I've got so many layered over on top of one another. Wait, is that up to date as well? Do I need to like, I'll probably need to like refresh that now and again. Might fall behind. Like that did. Is there a leader for theme right now, or do they show any data? No, there's no way to know. No way to know. Like I say, someone was doing a poll, and it looked like on the of people who took part in the poll, there was a slight lead for Strange Machines, but it was actually really even. There's like 300 votes, and there was like a 30 vote difference between like people who'd voted this up and people and the very bottom one. I can't remember what the bottom one was, but it was like, yeah, it was like 110 versus like 70 or something like that. And that's from a tiny sample of the people who like are taking part. Timer regularly decent? Yeah, probably. I just need to get it to like refresh every now and again, right? Refresh browser when scene become active. I don't know if there's some way I can get it to be like, okay, refresh this every just minute or something, right? Or just every 10 minutes. It wouldn't even have to be very often. What about my idea for Strange Machines? I think if I did Strange Machines, I think what I would like, what's in my head is I would actually do something that captures some little bit of the fun I've been having a lot recently playing Armored Core 6. I've loved making robots in that game and just like trying different builds of robot to do things. So I'd like to make some sort of, I don't know, modular player character that's like, I don't know whether you can, I don't know in what, whether it be 2D or, well, it'd be 2D, whether it be top down, whether it be like platformer or what, but like something where you can swap out like your arms, legs, head, or whatever, and they do different things and just affect the way your character controls. And then some kind of game around that would be interesting. Like whether it's, even if it's just as simple as like an arena shooter or survival game or something, you know? You're like running around looking for parts and like just changing up how the machine works. Maybe you find, unlike in Armored Core, maybe you find other machines made out of parts or whatever, and you fight them in this weird facility or something, and then maybe you could salvage a bit of them. I'd probably do the same kind of game for salvage as well. Actually, I like this idea now. Now I want it to be Strange Machines. Do I vote Strange Machines up now? I can't believe you made me think of an idea. Now I'm going to want to do that idea. And the problem with that is like, unlike in Armored Core 6, it's like hard to, like if all the opponents would be essentially machines that are equivalent to the player, you've got to somehow make AI or something, right? Or some, you know, well, yeah, AI that is like not, that is interesting. Making interesting AI is hard. Like, I was actually surprised how well the AI worked out for Fireball. When I added it. Not in this version, but in the version on GX Games, which I think... You play GX Games in any browser now? I think you can, which is kind of big news. I keep meaning to talk about this on the channel, but like... Yeah, does this work? Yeah, so I really, like, literally in like 10 minutes wrote an AI for this, and I actually... Oh, that was loud. Sorry, I don't know how loud that came across to you guys, but I'm just going to quickly turn down the volume there. How do I... Oh. Wait, how does this work again? Do I have to specify single player? I know you can do it single player. How does my own game work? Yeah, how loud is that? That sounds like it might be insanely loud. Oh, just any key to continue. How do you do it single player again? I'm sure you could just start it. Maybe it's broken now. Maybe I need to fix it. It's because I'm not even signed in. I just wanted to show off the AI. I mean, no sign-ins. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, this might have... Is that... Please warn me if that's coming across really loud. It sounds really loud in here. I don't feel like it used to do that anyway. I'm not sure if that's... Ah, yeah. Start game now. Or I just need to be signed in. I guess it's changed, so I've not got anything that checks if you're signed in or anything. It's not very loud, good. Yeah, so this AI opponent here. It's like really simple, but actually kind of moves and behaves as like a really good human player. They're a bit too accurate, but I did give them a little bit of like, they can miss at all, you know? Like if I just stay still, no, I get pretty wrecked. Oh, actually, no, they're super accurate. They probably needed more. But like, I literally did write it in like 10 minutes, right? Towards the end of this like thing. Or in like an... Oh, no, it wasn't like a quick game jam though, this. Like, I did it in like an hour, I think. Some short space of time. I did not have much time left, and you had to do it for this specific thing. And yeah, I was just like, dang, I really should have a way for you to play single player so you can play by yourself. And yeah, that worked really, really well. Surprisingly well. But the downside to it is it's really, like, the AI is actually really hard. So yeah, that could be an interesting little challenge to try and solve again if I did that kind of game. But again, I think the pain point of doing something like that would be creating enough parts and stuff that do interesting things to make the game interesting. But it wouldn't be too dissimilar from Life is Short, in which I made a bunch of weapons and stuff that did different things. And however I would do the system for swapping your parts around, right? I would need a nice, simple interface for that. Or maybe no interface, maybe it's literally just like parts on the ground. Oh, there's a head there, you can swap it. Or whatever, and it just swaps for whatever you've got on. Because each thing can only go into one slot or something. If there's no enemies, maybe get past them. I'm like, yeah, sure, that could be a way to do it. But I also think it's just really interesting to do that kind of... It's the interesting thing about Armored Core 6 and about like a lot of like Souls combat when you fight something that's very similar to you, right? I think there's just a lot of interesting stuff about that. Yeah, I'd actually, yeah, I don't know, that would be a really fun game to make. Could also do it with spaceships as well. That would be kind of interesting. Like a space shooter, like, type of thing. It'd be really cool to add multiplayer too as well, but there's no way I would do that for the jam. Yeah, it does also work for the salvage theme, yeah. There you go. Got an idea that I'm trying really hard to not get mentally invested in now. Because that's quite cool. But it hits 2 other themes. It'll be something like overgrown now, where I just like can't really use that like at all. Okay. Right, now I thought a bit about that. What I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to wrap up streaming. We've got 4.5 hours until I'm going to actually start. And it's annoying because that's around the time I kind of want to go to bed. It's like, I've talked about this before, it's like I feel like I lose the, like, they've optimized the time start for it to be, like, as annoying as possible for me. And I swear I remember them saying, like, oh yeah, we changed the time so it would be, like, nicer for Europe. And I'm like, this is worse. This is so much worse. But it is what it is. So, and I'm probably going to do the jam version anyway, so I'm going to have more time. If the mech is controlled by tiny animals, that's 3. Honestly, I think I'm thinking of a lot of things in the same space, because when I'm thinking tiny creatures, I also kind of want to do some kind of like thing where you're one of many kind of thing, and like, but you are different or have some mutation or something. So it's almost the same thing, but instead of parts, it's almost like mutations and evolutions. I don't know, I almost want to do some sort of like Darwinian, like spore kind of like, you know, what advantages are good and interesting and work out, and that kind of space and thing, you know. So I might find a way to shoehorn this idea into whatever theme comes up. I am in Europe. I'm in the northeast of Misery Island, sometimes referred to as the United Kingdom. Never solved my website puzzle thing back in the day. Wow. It's still there. It's still functional. It's something I'd love to go back to at some point, or like do again, or I don't know. Add to. It's stood the test of time. Like, I don't know, every now and again someone tells me about they've been playing that, and I'm like, oh, people still play that? And I get emails of people like want to be added to the scoreboard and stuff. I've forgotten about Keep the Light On. Someone said they thought that was cool. It's not awful. Honestly, none of these are bad. None of them are bad at all. Anyway, I said I was going to come on, so let's remember that I was going to do that. So what I'm going to do, what the plan is, I'm going to come off, I'm going to get something to eat, might even pop to the shops, get something, because I don't want to stock up on some snacks and whatnot for the weekend. Just take a little bit of a break as well. Just, you know, I've been streaming for almost 3 hours. And then when we get a little bit closer to the time, I might come back and we can kind of like have a countdown, I guess. For the stream. Maybe I'll even like set up a project in GameMaker and get things kind of ready. Bring over some of my generic helper scripts and all that kind of jazz. As long as it's not locks and keys, you're good. Yeah, also not a big fan of that one. Again, the thing is, there's none that I hate. Honestly, I think the one I'd struggle the most with is Break the Cycle, but I don't think it's a bad theme. but I think I'd find it the hardest. Locks and keys will disappoint me now because I'm getting too invested in this kind of idea space. I need to stop thinking about it. Or maybe I need to start thinking about these other ones so I have an idea space I like for them too. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to end up doing the thing. I'm going to end up with an idea for all of them. But, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to come off now. Thank you everyone for hanging out. When we kind of get rid of Ludum Dare, I will probably be back again for at least like the countdown for when it actually starts. It'll be like, oh, that's the theme. Good luck, everyone. I'm going to go to sleep now. But also maybe a bit before that as well. We'll find out. Use these keys. Oh yeah, locks. You lock up your mech, and there are keys inside for the pilot. Locks and keys. I just love robots, and I'm a big fan of robots. Very recently, a bit just embracing the joy of robots. Hey, you want to see me plunge into darkness? We have entered the Shadow Realm. And with entering the Shadow Realm, I'm going to say goodbye to you all. So thank you all very much for watching. I'll probably see you all again in an hour. If I don't see you again in an hour or two, then, I don't know, maybe I'll see you this weekend. If I don't see you this weekend, I'll see you whenever I see you. Thanks for hanging out. Best of luck to anyone taking part if I don't get to speak to you again before then. And I'll see you in a little bit.